It's funny because we have 3 hours to work out. It's not like we don't have the time.
Right.
But that's the difference between pro athletes and us.
Yeah.
They have the energy to work out for 3 hours. So the Cowboys are still working on a long-term deal with Dak Prescott, the deal that will never end. But Stephen Jones said on ESPN that even though these bigger deals are harder to get done, he is confident they will figure it out.
No one thinks more Dak Prescott than Jerry Jones and myself. I totally believe we'll get Dak signed, at the right number that's good for Dak, good for the Cowboys, good for this team. We're all motivated. We're all motivated to win. We will certainly want Dak to be happy, but we also want to surround him with great football players.
His exclusive franchise tag is worth $31.4 million. He is not working out with the team during their virtual offseason program as he's looking for a long-term deal after being given the franchise tag last month. Again, this kind of just feels like the deal that we've been talking about for... I feel like we've been talking about this for almost 2 years now, honestly.
I just have no opinion on it.
Maybe longer.
Yeah.
We're going to find out very soon what the situation is for this year. Well, not very soon, but within the next month or so, what the situation is with Dak and whether he's going to play on that franchise tag or not, because I believe they have until July 15th to figure it out. But, their overall goals remaining the same, to try and put pieces around Dak Prescott to help him win. But I fully understand where Dak is coming from as well. So Brett Favre has a lot to say about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers since they drafted Jordan Love. And on Sirius XM NFL Radio this week, he said that Rodgers doesn't really feel like he fits with Green Bay anymore.
Aaron's situation, when you get down to it, is so similar. Not just take the draft part out of it. New regime. The GM there did not draft Aaron. The head coach has 1 year with him. Basically, everyone's new. I said, Aaron, do you ever look around in the huddle or in the chow hall or in the meetings and go, I feel like the odd man out? And he said, yeah, because you were there during this regime and none of the other guys were there. You outlived all the other guys that were with you in the first regime. And now all of a sudden the new regime comes in, brings in their guys, and you feel like the odd man out, which is crazy, but it's true.
Again, I still don't understand where this new regime is coming from, like what exactly they've accomplished that would put them in a position to be questioning whether Aaron Rodgers should have a say over what goes on there. I understand if Matt LaFleur wants to, implement the type of offense that he wants, but I'm pretty sure when he took the job, part of the reason he went there was Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, and he's pretty good. Which is why they were 13-3 last year and in the NFC Championship game. The whole thing is so odd to me. I don't understand what the messaging is here, why you would want to move off of Aaron Rodgers. It's very different than, actually, I don't even think it is different. The situation with Tom Brady is kind of similar, like wanting to move off of Tom Brady for Jimmy G. And we know that that's Belichick's style. He likes to move off of players before they hit that, go on the other side of the hill, get rid of them a year before, send them off somewhere else. That's Belichick's plan usually as well. Even with Tom Brady, like we know he wanted to move on to Jimmy G, and they're in a situation now where they've got Stidham. But what did Tom Brady do in those years since that happened with Jimmy G?
Well, we will talk about this next because our next segment is regarding Aaron Rodgers and the fit in Green Bay. Where quarterbacks would ideally play if their personality and style fit a city and a franchise. That's coming up next.
It's just going to be so interesting to watch and see what happens with this. Finally, 49ers GM John Lynch said last month they talked about going after Tom Brady in free agency, but decided to stick with Jimmy G and thought that was the right choice. And Kyle Shanahan told The Athletic that they were very honest with Jimmy G throughout the whole process. He said Jimmy's an easy guy to talk to about that type of stuff. He worked with Tom. He knows how great Tom is. Jimmy wants to get there, and it's important to me that he does too. I would love to have something like what Belichick and Tom had out there. It's cool when something like this comes up that leads to conversations that Jimmy and I have had, and he knows that my expectations, and it's cool that I think that they are his also. I think he's talking about he wants what Belichick and Brady had as far as the winning goes, because I think we know that the relationship with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was seemingly not this open and free. It does seem like Jimmy G is the type of guy that you could have these conversations with, although I don't know how comfortable he is when they're over. Sometimes you have a hard conversation with someone just because they're willing to have it doesn't mean that they feel some type of way afterwards.
Right.
Again, I do feel like the reaction to Jimmy G in San Francisco has been a little bit harsh. They did have an incredible season, which he played a major role in, and we're in the Super Bowl, so I don't think there's any reason to overreact. I'm glad the 49ers did not pull the trigger on this and panic and really go after it. I think that Jimmy G is the future there. He needs to be a little more polished, but okay, they have a great team. They're going to be back.
Agree. And by the way, he led Patrick Mahomes entering the fourth quarter in his first full year.
Yeah.
Don't get the pushback at all. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line
Okay, the
News.
segment I can't wait for. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre says, you feel like an odd fit, right? And it got us thinking, where should Aaron play? If you take the quarterback and his style and his brand, where would he fit perfectly? Because that stuff matters. We know it matters. That's coming up. You check things all the time, like your email, but what about checking something as important as your credit? Discover makes it easy and fast and, best of all, free. Discover now offering FICA credit scores. That's the score used by 90% of top lenders, and they're doing it for free, even if you're not a Discover customer. Checking your score will not hurt your credit, and you can check each month for changes. Discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations do apply. A segment I can't wait for next.